It's really something how relationships can just change, sometimes slowly, sometimes bang. It's just over, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's kind of what brings us to our deep dive today. We're looking at what seems to be the complete dissolution of the connection between Meri Brown and Robyn Brown from Sister Wives.
Yeah, based on some pretty direct things Mary's been saying lately, it feels like a massive shift.
Definitely. We're working mainly from excerpts from a transcript by Without a Crystal Ball on YouTube. They do a lot of reality TV analysis, especially Sister Wives.
Right.
So our mission for you listening in is to really unpack what Mary's recent comments are telling us, get a handle on the tensions, the key changes, and just paint a clearer picture of where things stand now.
Or maybe where they don't stand.
Exactly. The absence of a relationship, perhaps.
Okay, let's dive right in. Mary made this statement super clear
Mm.
about her divorce and having zero connection with. And she said, "My ex and his wife." Wow.
Yeah, that quote is powerful, isn't it? She says, I'm divorced and I don't know or care what happens with my ex and his wife. I'm not in their lives. We don't interact, so if you guys ask me questions, why would I know?
My ex, definitive. And his wife, not even Robin's name.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The phrasing speaks volumes, right? Just his wife.
Mm.
It signals such distance, maybe even dismissal.
Total distance.
Yeah.
And we don't like interact. Not just don't, but don't like. It implies there's no desire there at all.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about how they got to this point.
It does. And building on that, how she's saying it, that leads us to the YouTubers' take on her tone. They called it salty birches, I think.
Okay. Salty.
Yeah, describing the tone. And the point is, this is so, so different from what we used to see.
Oh, yeah. The whole besties for the resties thing feels like a million years ago.
Hmm.
Remember how Meri always seemed to be defending Robin publicly?
Exactly. The narrative, on the show anyway, was this really close bond, this sisterhood.
That was the story, yeah.
And the source material points back to, old clips. Robyn seeming supportive of Meri, talking about maybe adopting Robyn's kids. Robyn saying Meri was vital to the family.
Right, I remember that phase.
And you put that next to Meri now, saying basically, I know nothing and care less. I mean, the contrast is just incredibly stark.
So the break seems final now, but the YouTuber's analysis suggests this might have started, like, way before the official split announcement with Kody.
That seems to be the case, yeah. The source reminds us Meri and Kody were reportedly separated for years before it became official news.
Okay.
And Meri herself had said multiple times that outside of filming the show, she and Robyn didn't really have contact. No texts, no hanging out, no real relationship happening off camera.
Which makes some of those scenes around the breakup. Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Robyn being so emotional on camera and Meri saying, nothing's going to change in our relationship, meaning her and Robyn. She's still sort of clinging to the family idea then, maybe.
That seems to be the interpretation. Even as things ended with Kody, Meri maybe still hoped for that plural family connection. But the YouTuber brings up this whole theory about sacrifices Meri supposedly made.
Sacrifices.
For Robyn.
Yeah, potentially for Robyn's benefit. This is where it gets, well, quite interesting for anyone trying to understand the dynamics.
Okay, what kind of sacrifices are we talking about here?
Well, the theory laid out is that Meri gave up some major things. Her legal marriage to Kody, obviously, that allowed him to marry Robyn.
Right, that was huge.
And then moving multiple times, Las Vegas, Flagstaff, and even allegedly giving Robyn money for a down payment on a house.
Whoa, okay, a down payment. That's significant.
It is, and it speaks to that dynamic you sometimes see where one person invests a huge amount, maybe hoping for something back that just never materializes. It's a pattern, not just on TV.
So Meri potentially putting her own needs way on the back burner. And the YouTuber's view is
What?
that Robyn didn't reciprocate, pretty much. The perspective shared in the source is that Robyn seemed more focused on her own stuff, maybe spending, acting a bit entitled, and didn't really offer Meri that same level of support or connection back.
Even though Meri, for years, was often defending her.
Right. Always making excuses, trying to see the good side, according to the source.
Which really makes this current attitude, this total detachment, even more dramatic. It's like a switch flipped. And you can see it in how she reacts to questions about Robyn now.
Oh, absolutely. The frustration is obvious. People asking about Robyn's doll collection.
Yeah. What did she say?
Basically, why would I know that? Same with the pregnancy rumors that keep popping up.
Those rumors.
Meri's response was apparently very blunt. Guess what? She wouldn't tell me if she was.
Oof, that says it all, doesn't it? No communication. At all.
Complete breakdown. And the YouTuber pointed out something kind of sad, actually, Meri talking about how important her dog is to her now. Yeah, like that's her main relationship focus. It kind of highlights that need for connection, you know? When human relationships disappoint, people find love and comfort elsewhere. Pets often fill that gap.
Makes sense. It underscores how isolated she feels from the others.
It really does. And it makes the YouTuber wonder, like, when did Meri really see the relationship with Robyn for what it was? Maybe it took stepping away completely.
Getting that distance.
Yeah, leaving the family structure, seeing Robyn stay with Kody. Maybe that distance gave her clarity on how things had actually been all along.
Perspective, right?
Yeah.
Looking back from the outside, especially when you think about Robyn's past statements.
Exactly. The source reminds us of Robyn saying things like, you know, this family is as much you as it is me and Kody. Statements seemingly meant to keep Meri feeling like part of the unit.
Which, looking back now, through this lens, could feel manipulative.
That's the suggestion the YouTuber makes, yeah. That those reassurances might have been tactics to keep Meri invested.
And just to recap the timeline for listeners, Meri's official separation was announced early 2023.
Correct. And since then, her message has been super consistent. No contact, no knowledge of Kody and Robyn's lives, using my ex and the wife over and over.
Really driving the point home.
It does. And interestingly, the source mentions that McKelty, another family member, apparently does know about the doll collection, finds it normal, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which just highlights Meri's total exclusion from that part of Robyn's world. And again, on the pregnancy thing, Meri's clear she has no idea.
Right.
The YouTuber also brings up how insensitive those pregnancy questions are, given Meri's own fertility struggles over the years.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. For viewers who followed her story, it adds another layer of complexity. You get invested.
Yeah.
And then reality seems so different from the show sometimes.
It really does. And this feeling of disconnect, it wasn't just in words, it was visible at Garrison's memorial service, too.
Oh, how so?
The seating arrangement. Apparently, Janelle and Christine sat together on one side with Kody and Robyn, but Meri sat completely separate from them all.
Wow. Sitting alone.
Yeah. That mental image, it's pretty powerful. A visual symbol of that emotional distance we're talking about.
Definitely speaks volumes. Okay, and then there was something about property documents and Meri's social media.
Yes, this is interesting timing. According to the source, the day after Robyn supposedly signed off on some property documents finalizing things, presumably Meri posted something quite emotional online.
What'd she post?
The source quotes bits like, sitting in the sadness, unraveling, and releasing stored trauma.
So the timing suggests.
The YouTuber connects it. Suggests that maybe getting those property issues finally settled allowed Meri to actually start processing everything emotionally, to move on.
And there was maybe a delay in Robyn signing? Is that the implication?
That's the suggestion, yeah.
Yeah.
That Robyn might have held things up, causing more uncertainty for Meri. And Janelle, too. Apparently, Janelle was also involved in that property stuff.
Okay, so another potential layer of friction even during the separation process.
Seems possible, based on the source's interpretation. And then on top of all that, there's Meri's comments about the show itself, about potential acting or scripting.
Right. She said she doesn't do scripted scenes, but implied maybe others do.
Exactly. Which, if she believes that, think about how that would color her perception of everything she sees Kody and Robyn do or say on camera.
Yeah, if you think it's just a performance, it wouldn't feel real at all. It would just reinforce the disconnect.
Absolutely. Which leads us to this very weird situation now, doesn't it? Meri's still on the show with her ex-husband and his wife, who she has zero contact with.
It's kind of surreal.
It really is.
Yeah.
The source mentioned how long the last season was and the next one's coming. It's an unusual setup. It makes you think about reality TV, you know, presenting this family when it's so clearly fractured behind the scenes.
What's the responsibility there to the audience, to the people involved?
Big questions. What about the emotional toll on everyone? It's complex.
Definitely. And the YouTuber wraps up by sort of expressing hope for Meri and also mentioning that Christine might have seen this dynamic with Robyn much earlier.
Yeah, a little nod to Christine maybe, having had Robyn figured out sooner.
So, okay, wrapping this deep dive up, the main takeaway really feels like Meri's recent comments just crystallize things. The end with Kody is clear, but the break with Robyn, calling her just his wife.
Yeah.
That feels like the bigger story here, almost. Such a departure from the past.
A huge departure, yeah. We hope that walking through Mary's words and the YouTuber's analysis has given you, our listeners, a bit more insight into just how complicated these relationships are and how dramatically things can shift.
Absolutely. So here's something to maybe chew on after listening. When there's such a massive gap between what's shown on TV and the actual relationships off screen, what does that really say about the stories we watch? About reality TV itself?
And maybe think about the people involved. What could the long-term emotional impact be? Living with that kind of public versus private split. It's definitely food for thought.